Shedeur Sanders finally responds to his Cleveland home being invaded and robbed. Also, there's a new angle to the perps who actually did the robbery. Let's watch all this right now.
Sure, first off, just how you doing mentally, emotionally, obviously. About what happened at your home. How you doing after that?
Yeah, mentally, emotionally, I'm in a great place overall. In life, it's always going to be adversity. Things aren't always going to go, as planned, but I would say, I'm prepared for everything.
Whereas you've worked behind the scenes, obviously we haven't gotten to see you at practice since training camp, but what are you most proud of, I guess, with your development so far, and where do you feel like you've grown?
I would say definitely, I would say mentally, emotionally. I know this is a trending topic that my house got broken into, but I'm in a mental space now to where, it's not too much that could faze me, honestly. What's going on? And none of my jewelry got took anyway. So, by the way, none of my jewelry got took. So now, it's just caught slipping. It happens.
What do you think the emotions are going to be going on?
And to see that, you guys also have to look at the new angle, because we're going to go in depth into the new angle as well. You guys seen what you're looking at? Let's talk about this together. Go hit that like button, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm your guy, DJ BlessOne, the best one.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Niggas bless up on my...
So, ladies and gentlemen, IsmokeHiphop Live family, this is DJ BlessOne in the building, blessing you with another upload, and you guys blessing me with your presence and your attention. Now, guys, and today we got to talk about Shedeur Sanders responding to his home being robbed in Cleveland during his first NFL game against Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, while that young king was out there delivering his God-given talent and his moment, you know what I mean, making his debut, making the city money. Let's just be flat out honest, making Cleveland money, hell, making the entire state of Ohio money, making the whole conglomerate of the NFL money, making the journalists money, making the content creators money, just making anybody money who speak on them. Let's just be flat out real and say that. Now, while that young king was doing all that, putting on a show, that man's own home got hit, and the way he responded, man, that says everything you need to know about Shedeur Sanders. Now, let's start with the obvious. Shedeur said it himself, the thieves didn't get any of his jewelry. Why? Because he was prepared. Shedeur knows what's going on with his last name. He knows the people that be surrounding him and the associates, the teammates. You don't think Shedeur had a preparation for this? That's the difference between a young man who made it and a man who was raised in the Sanders household. Coach Prime is going to prepare his, if he's preparing guys like Travis Hunter and others, what you think he's doing with his own? Like, think about that. Shedeur's been around big moments, bright lights, and unfortunately, jealousy and envy. Let's just be real about it. Jealousy and envy. Oh, it goes hand in hand. He knows the world is a place that works entirely different, so he understands how it moves and circulates. Shedeur understands that. He said he was ready for exactly, situations like this, not for this to happen, but he was prepared. You heard that, man. And right there, it tells you this wasn't some random robbery. This wasn't a crackhead walking around trying doors and trying to see if it's open. This was targeted. Let's get into that video, the first angle, before we go to the note. Remember the first one? You can precisely see the shoes these guys was wearing, one of the camera angles. I know it's night vision, but obviously this was a diverse group. You probably have a Hispanic. Of course, you have a Negrums, but there was definitely a Mayo there as well. Mayo, Mayo, hold my sandwich. You can definitely see it there. This was orchestrated. Let's just be real. They disabled the alarm. When you look at the other angle, this was too comfortable. Look, let me pause the volume. And so we can talk about this. Look how they go out here in a facility that has cameras everywhere. You don't think like name into 2025 who goes anywhere without thinking about cameras. Then I have to assess the situation. You see this robber over here? Look at the shirt that he's wearing. That's what I wanted to show you guys right quick. Hang on, I'll go back to it. You see the sweater he has? I have the same one. Look at that. This is what he has. That's why I took it just to bring it to the camera. This is what he's wearing right quick in the name brand. Now, you can get these in Georgia. You can get these in Florida, Alabama. I don't know about, and I seen some in Louisiana. You go to their main malls of these areas, and you go to a store inside the mall called New Square. So it told me a little bit more about the culprit. Definitely, these dudes was paid. They probably don't know damn things about football very much. These are regular guys who don't partake in crimes like this. They probably was in hard times, needed money. Most likely guys in the Cleveland area who, yes, they're affiliated and associated with some people who know Shedeur, but it's more of probably students going to a high school or a college near, whoever set this play up. Like, without a doubt, I'm 100% correct about this. And Shedeur is smiling because he probably had his jewelry tucked in some type of retainer, such as a lockbox or whatever the case may be, because he understood, I'm Shedeur Sanders. I'm expecting my house to get robbed. In 2025, if you're hated the way Shedeur is hated for just existing, you're prepared for these type of games to be played with you. This is why Deion Sanders said he understood what was going on with Shedeur Sanders behind the scenes. Let's get to that right quick, because it made sense when Coach Prime was speaking about it. Hang on, guys. I want to go where he allowed it to that, because to me, that made perfect sense. It's like he knew the sabotage in play. He said, I know the fight behind the fight. I know what's been transpiring behind the curtains, and I'm just proud of him, because Coach Prime understands they did not want Shedeur there for football reasons, only business reasons. Jimmy Haslam showed you who he is. I exposed him and his wife, D Haslam already, DEE, and I showed you what they're doing, exploiting the people of Cleveland and the great state of Ohio. But people don't want to pay attention to that part because it's not salacious enough. You just seen Terry Bradshaw talking about he loves Dylan Gabriel, but he can't stand Shedeur. He literally said that verbatim. Like, that should make you look like, what are making these non-melanated people so infuriated like that? Why are they mad at a guy just trying to play football? It almost feels like Dylan represents the Mayo community and Shedeur represents the melanated community, and it shouldn't have to be like that if we live in a world where all is created equal. But everybody and their mama are rooting against Shedeur when they have no foot in this fight. So you have to look at it for what it exactly is. Guys, at the end of the day, that's the obvious of Shedeur knowing he was targeted. But let me tell y'all my view. DJ BlessOne been saying it since The story actually dropped. This was an inside job, not just a regular inside job, but people from the organization of the Cleveland Circle. It's either somebody in that Cleveland Circle or somebody wearing the same uniform in that locker room or somebody connected to that Browns organization knew exactly how to move and why. You can see they gave the guys the codes. Those dudes had the codes to get in there. Right or wrong, that's exactly what we're seeing, and we understood from that entire situation. Listen to me, guys. They disabled the alarm with a striker. Read that again. They disabled the alarm with a striker. You hear what I'm telling you guys? But who in the streets knows the exact way to bypass a high-end security system inside a high NFL players properly unless you're connected already? Those are the only typical street dudes who know. Those are the big shoe guys who have like a cousin who plays in the league and he's a finesser too. He might give an alley-oop. This definitely happens. You better go listen to these former players who have all spilled the inside secrets, man. This is factual. And does it, like, look, listen, and who does it while Shedeur's at an away game, while the city knows his exact schedule? That's not a coincidence. That's not luck. That's knowledge. That's access. Listen to me, guys. That's information someone shouldn't have unless they were close, very close. Now, listen to me. And look, I know people are going to say, BlessOne, you're reaching, because that's the new stitch in 2025. They say, bro, you're reaching. You're reaching. I'm not reaching. I'm connecting the dots like any formidable journalist, proper investigative journalist would do. You connect the dots. Someone knew the code. Someone knew the timing. Someone knew where the blind spots were. Someone knew exactly what to do and where to go after, except Shedeur was already ahead of them. That's the beautiful part about God and his people and his 144th. It's just factual, because here's the deeper level. This robbery wasn't really about taking jewelry. You don't think these guys, as ready and prepared they were, they couldn't have other tools to utilize, the open safes or whatever lockbox Shedeur had? No, it was about to send a message. This was not about stealing jewelry. They were trying to steal Shedeur's confidence. Boom. They were trying to steal Shedeur's confidence. Think about it. The kid just left Colorado, new team, new city, new environment, new pressure, his first game in the NFL. And they tried to rattle him at home. They tried to break his peace, his comfort zone, the one place a man is supposed to feel safe, where he lays his head at. That size, look, listen, guys, it's a spiritual warfare, but to go more deeper, because this is bigger than football and deeper than football, that's psychological warfare being administrated from that organization, the Shedeur right there. Look at everything he's been through right there. That's precisely psychological warfare being displayed and exhibit right before our eyes. That's intimidation. That's envy. That's somebody trying to send a message and not even coded. Connect the dots, like I told you. But here's the beautiful part. The beautiful part. You hear me? Shedeur didn't fold. He didn't panic. He didn't lash out. Let's listen to what the brother had to say again.
Sure, just first off, just how you doing mentally, emotionally, obviously. Kind of news about what happened at your home. Just how you doing after that?
Yeah, mentally, emotionally, I'm in a great place overall. In life, it's always going to be adversity. Things aren't always going to go, as planned, but I would say, I'm prepared for everything.
Shedeur, as you've worked behind the scenes, obviously we haven't gotten to see you at practice since training camp, but what are you most proud of, I guess, with your development?
I love that about Shedeur, man. Like you can't rattle that young man. You can't rattle us. No matter what plights, experiments you want to do, you can't rattle us. Did you guys see that? He came out and spoke calmly like a man raised by Deion Sanders. No, not even that. A man raised by a good brother, raised by a foundation. You could tell he learned from his pops, a poise under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Just perfectly, man. Composure in chaos. Like the chaos surrounded around Shedeur, many people ahead of him, older than him, they don't have that je ne sais quoi he has, confidence in the storm. He can weather that storm. He doesn't have to weather it. He's already in it. He's dealing with it. So there's no need to weather the storm. He said the thieves didn't get anything valuable. But what I saw is that they didn't get the most valuable thing. His focus. His focus. That young man has dealt with death threats. We've seen that already during the Jackson State days when they transferred and went to Colorado. The criticism and hate, you know, at Boulder. But even though we know a lot of people love him there, but let's just be real, it was not really Boulder. It was guys like Sean Keeler, those type of individuals who live in Colorado and elsewhere. I mean, fake narratives from ESPN and others, Fox Sports, jealousy, guys like Bumani or Punani Jones, you know what I mean? Now a robbery, all before even finishing his first NFL season, and still he carries himself like a professional. He carries himself like a leader should, by the way, minus other guys like Dylan. You rarely see any leadership in this guy, but they think being quiet, never saying anything is leadership. But Dylan Gabriel has always spoken. He speaks a lot, actually, but you guys choose not to call him out for the things he talks about or stepping, fetching Stephen A. Smith in his excuse making for it. But Shedeur, he still carries himself like someone destined to shake the whole league, as he's been doing. I mean, the guy only threw for 40-something yards, and look at all these guys getting out of their body. Remember, Quando Rondo said it was like an outer body experience. All these hatreds of us melanated, beautiful people of God, they have an outer body experience anytime one of us are in the limelight or we have a greater following than what they consider a greater following. It is jealousy and envy. This whole situation, it's a stain on them. The Cleveland Browns and all those people I spoke about. I'm sorry, y'all. It just is what it is, folks. It is. You're supposed to protect your quarterback on the field and off the field. Instead, the young man's house is compromised. His security disabled. Striker. And it feels like everyone is pretending this is normal. Did you guys see the behavior on all these platforms, these sport media shows? You know what Jason Whitlock was saying? Nah, not buying it. But know what? Nah, know this. They didn't stop nothing. They didn't break nothing, didn't shake nothing. They didn't steal nothing of real value when it comes to the spiritual essence of what we are. Because Shedeur Sanders walked out of this situation with more maturity, more fire, and more determination than the clown who tried to break into his home will ever have. This wasn't a loss for Shedeur. This was yet another example of why this young man is built differently. And if Cleveland or anybody in that building thinks they rattled him, nah. All they did was prove and show the world how unshakable Shedeur really is. DJ BlessOne signing out.
Heart been broke so many times.